Carly. I know. With every group.
Oh, yeah, but still.
Super.
And they have, you know, they have garlic without the smell.
What?
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Oh, yeah, really, yeah. That's like garlic and fried garlic with fries and stuff, yeah. They have it without the smell, you know. They remove that, but it's still tastes oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Is there any popcorn and put you up some orange juice? And make some coffee, can I get you anything?
No, but the board would like to have something, or, I guess, a director, Alvarado, you know, and.
Or guest?
Our control. Because of my phone now.
Some of that popcorn.
Take a back, please. But that's wonderful, thank you. Being so considerate.
Okay, I'm waiting off.
You
Get your back.
I know. Let's take it for sure.
So you ready to do the first one? There's no committee.
This is gonna be my second meeting.
This is the second thing you do with the record, but I can do it.
Yeah, you know me, I read you all the 50 documents.
Yeah.
I get myself in trouble.
No.
And then.
It doesn't make sense. Oh, no.
I'm like, I'm gonna stop reading.
No, no, that's what you do.
That's.
And just let you know, I didn't think I was gonna do. I was, you know, I'm planning on relocating and, now I think he's taking on another.
Yeah.
You know what, like, yeah. So y'all got me for shortly. Yeah.
Not relocating.
Yeah. My daughter is going to do it.
We do have forum with
We have
Kristen. She's online.
And what's up there?
Beverly says she can't be.
Okay, so we got four.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see.
You three and Princess.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, so you ready to start? Okay, well, good evening to everyone on Zoom and here in person. I will be acting chair, vice chair for our chair. He's out of town right now. My name is Annie Meredith, and this is the North Richmond Municipal Advisory Council, Tuesday, May the 2nd, 2023. We are located here at 515 Silver Ave, North Richmond, 94801. The meeting is start just shortly after 5 o'clock, but we are starting right now. If Tanya, if you please call the roll so we can get started, please.
Don Gilmore. Beverly Scott. Marta Nieto. Dulce Galicia. Here. Annie King Meredith.
Here,
Princess Robinson.
Here.
And Jorge Vico Vera.
Press.
So we have four.
okay, thank you. Okay, with this, staff, if we can have approval of the agenda and the minutes.
I motion to approve the agenda minutes in today's agenda.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And we can speak up a little louder, and just to take note, I know when we were doing Zoom, it was sort of hard for us to hear on Zoom, so if we can all speak up here in this facility, so the audience in Zoom can hear us and hear the enunciation because of the echo that is in the center, okay? So saying that, let me go back to stand of all in favor. And we said aye. None. Aye. Yes, thank you. None opposing at this time. It has passed. So the approval of the agenda for tonight and the minutes has been approved. Okay, public comments. We have 3 minutes.
That's me.
Okay, acknowledging you, Cornell. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll speak loud for you, Acting Chair Emeritus. So here it is. So good evening, Acting Chair Emeritus, MAC members. My name is Cordell Handler, and I have 3 events for everyone to come. So number 1, you are cordially invited to attend the Rotary Club of El Cerrito on May 25th at 12:15 at the Berkeley Country Club. And our featured speaker for that meeting is Tiffany Harris, who will be talking to us about the Bay Area Girls Club. That's one. And then coming up on June 1st at 12:15, the Rotary Club of El Cerrito is having Jim Becker to talk to us about the Richmond Community Foundation. That should be a lot of fun. And what else? The third thing is, let me see. Oh, I just remembered it already. So I'm hoping that I am going to come to y'all meeting in person next month or July, whichever is convenient. So, or Zoom works perfectly for me. So those are the announcements, and I will turn it back to you, Acting Chair Meredith.
Are there any other public comments at this time? Please speak up now.
Yeah, I have my hand raised on Zoom. And then Dante, I see his hand raised on Zoom too as well. So I have a public comment. Last month I gave an announcement about the fence line project I'm involved in. It's a collective monument of resilience to make awareness of the climate injustices. And so me and Methuen, a couple of people from Methuen and some artists had designed this project where everyone can participate and design and customize their own slat, which is a long stick, and that we install it on Richmond Parkway with kites at the end, so you can see which way the wind blows, and the wind blows straight into the Richmond community. And so right now we have an exhibition in the Richmond Art Center. Anyone's Monday through Thursday is able to go to the Richmond Art Center to see this exhibition, as well as on Richmond Parkway between Gertrude and Vernon, you'll be able to see the slats actually installed on the fence. And I just wanted to let folks know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Francis, are there any other announcements or public comments at this time?
Yeah, hi, this is Dante with Healthy Contra Costa, formerly known as Healthy Richmond. And I just wanted to share that Healthy Contra Costa and potentially a member of the North Richmond resident leadership team is interested in possibly attending the next North Richmond Equitable and Economic Development Subcommittee meeting, just to present our learnings and findings, especially around community engagement related to our experiences and processes with the North Richmond Brookside site development and the removal action work plan advocacy. So yeah, just wanted to point that out and share that with them.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Are there any others at this time?
I do see Director Arto
Yes.
has his hand up.
Hi, my name is Ardo Rentila. I'm Director for West County Wastewater. I'm also the president of the Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council, and I wanted to let everybody here know that we're having a career fair on May 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There'll be about 20-30 unions there from different spectrums of work, and we have the military as well as city and county agencies. And then the following Thursday, we will have Contra Costa College at the Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council meeting. You guys are all welcome to attend, and we'll be making announcements on Facebook, basically on everybody's Richmond. So for those that are interested, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Arto. Are there any others? If not, I have one. Okay. All right, I'm just trying to get it together, so don't think I'm playing on my phone here, okay? I had to take a picture of it because I couldn't print it out, so just bear with me. Okay, this is on the behalf of, the West County Wastewater District. They are having a new career, better job, hired, pay, and benefits. Get hired in Richmond. I want you all to be taking notes here. So it's very important. So many times people say that, you know, wastewater is not hiring, and this is your opportunity to come out. The career fair is May the 20th, 2023, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Hilltop Community Church, 3118 Shane Drive, Richmond, California, 94806. New career opportunities with training and benefits immediately available. Okay, you'll be meeting face to face with some of the largest and best employers in the East Bay. They will train you, employ you, and provide great pay and benefit packages. If you have any steady transportation, this career fair is for you. It's industries, buildings, and trades. Unions with great pay benefits. Contra Costa County and government organizations, education, public safety, large commercial employers, and legal businesses. And it's lots more. These are just some of the jobs that will be presented at this job fair. Please come out. Again, this is May the 20th, 2023, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you can't, let someone else know. Okay? Thank you. Any others? We'll carry on. That's the end of our public comments and announcements for this evening. Law enforcement. At this time, I'm going to skip around. Our PD is not here, but nor is our sheriff, but we do have our highway patrol. So if he may come forward and give us some stats, please.
My name is Officer Flannery with CHP. Unfortunately, I do not come bearing any stats. I just was told to show up today, so that we're here. Hopefully about, hopefully 6 months, we'll have someone that's permanently out here in the North Richmond community that'll be patrolling, picking up all the abandoned vehicles, etc. Just enforcing the vehicle code. We've been pretty short staffed, had lots of new trainees coming in. So with every new trainee, we've had about 20 to 30 new trainees come in. So with every new trainee, we have to have an officer who's been trained to train the new trainees. So we haven't had anyone in this position, or at least out here in North Richmond, like dedicated to the North Richmond area, probably like 2 years that I'm aware of. So it's unfortunate, but the good news is that someone is probably going to be filling that position within the next, hopefully 6 months, at least from what I'm told from my upper management in my office, out of the Oakland area. If you have any questions, concerns, I would direct them to the Oakland area office. And then hopefully, maybe at the next meeting, I can get you some answers. If you contact the area office, and I can try and answer your questions that way. If anyone has any questions, I'll try to do my best. But no staff as of right now. But hopefully, when that person comes in and hopefully 6 months, like I said, they'll be able to get those stats back to you and show what we're doing.
Okay. Thank you. We do have some questions. Do we have some questions for our officer?
We don't, I don't see any questions, but we do have Mark, Lieutenant Rodriguez.
Okay, well, I'll get back, and I apologize short-sighted. I was looking for everybody to be here in person at this point, so, put it on me of looking at and didn't see you here. It's not that you're invisible, I just didn't think about you being on Zoom. That's the senior moment, okay? So, officer, if you can't, I have some individuals, community people to ask me about, these sideshows. I don't know if you, are aware of the sideshows that have been going on here in North Richmond on Market and Fred Jackson. One of the things that they have been very frustrated about when they do call in is that, the dispatch, and it's not on you, but the dispatch sort of holds them at bay of wanting to know how many people are out there, how many cars, and then add up, well, who are you that's calling? And they kind of shy back because they feel it should be anonymous, when they call, instead of having all these questions. I can understand asking about how many, how big the crowd is and, so forth and so on. But they have a tendency of not wanting to put themselves out and say, who they are. And in the past, I was told, and I don't know if this was a fairy tale or not, that usually when you call in, they can pinpoint the call and know where it's coming from. Anyway, instead of putting you out there to ask all those questions. So when a sideshow happens, what type of advice can you give our listeners, because I know some of them are online, to give them the opportunity to not feel that they are being at hostage to go any further about the information and about the sideshow?
I would just say our dispatch tries their best. They're more understaffed than we are. They try their best to just get the information that's needed in order for us to properly respond. So when they're asking probing questions such as how many cars are there, specific vehicles, I don't know specifically what they ask, but when they're asking those probing questions, they have a job to do as well. So they're asking your name, your phone number, that just gets put into a log. That way, if we need to contact anyone beyond that, you're more than welcome to just go by anonymous, provide a phone number. So we're able to contact you if needed at a later date and time. And besides that, it's just mainly they're trying to figure out so they can put out as much information out to the officers as possible, so that we're able to generate a response if needed. So if it's just, let's say it's a large sideshow event, then yeah, we're gonna need to send multiple officers out there and formulate a plan so that we're able to combat that sideshow specifically. Typically speaking, they do move around from different, spot to spot. But as stated before, with staffing issues, we kind of have to go through what's important, right? So more than likely, it'll take us, if we're coming from the Oakland area, it'll take an officer a while to get out here, depending on what time of the day, if there's traffic and whatnot. You have that, and you just have a lot of factors into it that would play into sending a full force of people out here for a sideshow. But that's mainly what they're asking, just, so that we can get an idea, so we can formulate a plan and best respond out here for the people.
Okay, well, thank you, and thank you for.
Did I answer that?
Yeah, no, you really did, because we've had this,
I know it's kind of annoying, I get it, it's kind of annoying, they ask a lot of questions, but they're just trying to do their job so that.
I can tell you as a person that lives on that corner, and that's kind of what I'm here to do, because it's frustrating, we put in all this effort. Well, the city finally fixed our streets, and they did so many donuts, you can't even see like the crosswalk, it's not even white anymore, like they destroyed all the new concrete that was put in. And, you come to the meetings and you complain about stuff, and then it just feels like it falls on deaf ears. Every time there's a sideshow, I've had people block my driveway. We have an elderly person in my community that needs to get out if she needs to. Like, you can't, there's so many people, it's out of control. And like, I have to lock my gates so people don't come in my yard. It's a safety concern. And I feel like everybody is gone at once. So it's not like it's just one person, but everybody in the neighborhood is gone. and then they show up. There was one time it was like going on almost an hour. And all that exhaust and stuff, and it's just, I know you can only do so much, but it's happening more often than not. And it's just starting to be frustrating, just when you call for help and nobody comes. And
So,
it's not the only incident, there's been other stuff. I mean, I could go on and on, but it just seems like anytime you call, like there was flooding in the street, or it could be a wide range of things. It's like they just kind of come whatever, there's nothing else to do. That's how it feels. I don't know if that's an accurate statement, but that's how it feels. It doesn't feel like you're getting the quick response that you would if you lived Beverly Hills. Like if I feel like if it wasn't in North Richmond, show up in 5 minutes. And that's how it feels when someone doesn't show up in an hour.
And to add to what Audrey said, is it took them almost 2 hours from the time that I called.
Excuse me, we gotta do it one at a time, and if you would like to, let us sheriff, let him respond, the officer respond if he may. And then, Tanya will call on you if you raise your hand. And that would be, raising, so we can keep things in order here, because we got a lot to say, everything, right, we got a lot to say, and I am the coordinator, for the neighborhood watch, and people have my number to call me anytime, so.
I think it would be helpful to have more than one person out. Like, so like maybe, I don't know what would be the result, but maybe if there was one person that called, I don't know if you're saying.
No, I said we have many, this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm bringing up, we have many calls.
I don't think the community is aware of that.
No, they are, we've been at it for over 20 years.
Well, it's not happening.
Okay,
So I don't know what.
and the reason why it's not happening is the shortness of sheriffs for having women to be out here. We are in the county, and they have a wider range to cover. So if we do call, it might take 30 or 45 minutes, but when they get there, they do disperse and they move somewhere else. This is what has been going on and continue on. I don't know why that they've taken so long in order to, how long did it take for you to get a response? Did anyone ever call you back? Even if you didn't leave your name, did anyone call you back?
I have no problem with my name and my address.
Okay.
I'm gonna shy about calling. Cause it's frustrating. I feel like my safety is important, and if somebody doesn't like that, well, then that's tough on you.
Right.
And I know you feel that all these numbers are out there in the community, but I've lived here for 4 years and I don't have one of those numbers.
Okay.
The only number and I have to research the number.
You still have.
So to say everybody in the neighborhood knows that, that's not fair. That's
I
not.
understand everybody has said it's been out here.
Well, it's underused, is what I'm saying. I don't think enough people are aware of it, and who may think that they are.
Okay, and it's wonderful that you are out here and attending this meeting, because this is where we actually get this information out into the community. And if people do not come to this meeting, they will be lost of what's going on.
And I go door to door to my neighbors and
But I'm saying,
and we talk as a neighborhood, so it's, if that information was something that I feel my neighbors have, I would know those numbers by now.
Mhm.
And so I appreciate you bringing it up, because that's not something that I'm aware of, and I want to be aware of those things, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, well, we have
Because it matters.
general information here at the Korean Things Center. This is one of the hubs where you get a lot of information from. Okay? So if you would like the anonymous number, I'm pretty sure, if we don't have to call, that's something we put out for many years. And it's been doing that past many years. And thank you for coming into North Richmond. Because I've been on it for over 50 years. And we can have these type of meetings. Okay, appreciate you coming, continue to come. We have a couple more people, and I know we're going to kind of.
Yeah, we have, I believe her name was Kate. I don't see a hand raised, but I know you had your hand raised.
Yeah. So there's a couple things I want to push back.
It's just for me to, absolutely, thank you.
My name is Aaron. I live right down here on Silver. I'm absolutely with you, Aaron. So two things. One, I have teenagers that I can't let outside because they can't come go with their friends, go to the movies, catch a bus. They have literally held up buses at this point. Now I'm gonna bring up the safety issue. This is a safety, there's a fire department. I have watched the fire department have to go around this twice. And me coming back from work, I go up 80, I do work up more and come back a couple nights a week. I can't even get in the neighborhood when this happens. Because they're parked blocking it off. I can't even get to my house. I have to go all the way back around, go down, come up by grocery outlet and come around, come back in, down, come down. But I live here, they don't, and they're breaking the law. It's that easy, and it's a secret. At that point. Kids can't walk out on the sidewalk. I moved to North Richmond out of Oakland because there were 4 murders within 2 blocks of my house. And then 3 days later, there were 3 more. I moved here because the violence level out here is down, and I got 70 kids. This is the type of thing, when it goes unchecked, it's a magnet. It becomes to be a problem. If the fire department, we don't respect the fire department. That's a problem. And I would love to have those numbers, because connecting with those numbers is also a problem for me. I've brought up abandoned cars. It took me 3 weeks to get a car with crack pipes laying in the seat in front of my house. Literally 3 weeks. To the point where I almost just packed my little truck up and put a chain under it and drove around the corner. I put it in the middle of the market and Truman, they're gonna come get that. They don't care if it's sitting in front of my house. I put a chain on and put it in the intersection, somebody's gonna come get it, and now I'm gonna get in trouble to get that. My kids aren't looking at crack pipes coming home from school. That's a problem. So it's about safety. Not even necessarily about them breaking the law, their kids, they got a car, they want to do it. Cool. Don't shut everything down. And you see a fire truck. That's all I have.
Very good, thank you for your, so at this point, we see it's twofold. One is highway control when it deals with trafficking, the other one is our sheriff. Is our sheriff one?
Yes, and people are
Okay.
asking if everyone can talk a little bit.
No, that's what that, yeah, that's the whole thing was. No, that's fine, thank you.
And to end, I see the sheriff department here, I see CHP here, I see San Pablo Police here, I see Richmond Police, and I'm grateful for that. That's a lot of cops in one area for different things, and I don't know if people remember whose job it is or how it works. That's a lot of law enforcement, because you know how it's coming off the backside there, Inslee and
Right,
Gertrude, and there's room, and a lot of traffic.
absolutely. Thank you for your comment. If we can, are you done, or do you have any more comments?
I mean, unless people want me to answer questions.
Well, we're gonna keep
I'm
them.
sure that, yeah, I understand. Gonna keep
But if
people-
you wanna comment, and then we move on, or we just, I'll open it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say a general comment is, like I said, the dispatch is understaffed, so we have our dispatchers that are putting out information to us. They're also putting us on standby to answer 911 calls. So we don't just have dedicated 911 people just answering the phone all the time, which is why you're not gonna have the greatest response, right? You're gonna be on hold for minutes. So they're literally, hey, I'm on standby, I have to take a 911 call. So they're doing like probably 8 things at once. And then a lot of these things with sideshows, it does take despite what you may think, it does take a coordinated response in order to combat it safely. It's not just like send one guy out here by himself and then go at it just with a whole group. I know from my personal experience, even just being remotely close to a sideshow, they'll start throwing rocks at you, fireworks, etc. So it's something that takes a full plan, almost like an operation in order to fully combat it. And then as far as jurisdiction of yes, there's lots of law enforcement in the area, but realistically, in the unincorporated areas here, it's CHP and the sheriff. So I know that specifically for this area, we used to have an officer dedicated to this area for morning hours and then one in the afternoon, in the evening. And on the weekends, there's none. So we're basically pulling from our normal call volume. So any of the freeway stuff, that's probably going to take precedent over taking a report or taking a parking. So there's stuff that's going out on the freeway, that's going to be our precedent for respond here until we get that person who's out here. This is a full-time job coming out here to talk with you guys, hear you guys' complaints, what better to help better, assist you guys. So
So when the guy comes in
Okay.
2 weeks, is
Okay.
that supposed to then change the dynamics of things?
Not 2 weeks, probably more like 6 months, but hopefully that would get you guys better responses as far as response times for during the day, like the evening. I don't know if it's just gonna be one person, what their hours are gonna be, kind of, I mean, that's probably, you guys can probably decide that as far as, what's gonna best suit you guys. But at least that will have, a better, like, they're supposed to be, supposed to be out here specifically, this is their area to work. That's, if I were to go on patrol and I have a specific area to work, I'm on the 24, the 580, that's my area to work, that's what I'm responsible for. So same thing, officer would come out here and they're responsible for this North Richmond. So hopefully that would benefit and get you guys better response times.
Now, if I can, because we're gonna have to keep it moving, but if you can give them a number, if you can put a number out for her to put, for a time to put in the chat for everyone, so they can have it for the highway patrolman, and then, if you have a number for dispatch, for them to call.
It's just 911 for any emergencies, not emergencies, I would probably for partner points and whatnot, it's still
It's still the same as we go through.
yeah, calling our office, probably, their response, probably calling 911 rather than calling our office, because it has to get routed, so.
So then, I guess what's kind of, I know you said you're kind of in conversation, but then it just feels kind of frustrating because what you're saying is we're aware of the problem, and there's nothing's gonna be done about it until there's more police. So then we're kind of stuck with this situation where.
This problem is just for the it is like Raymond in Oakland, they're taking over freeways, bridges, etc., which is moving our resources other places. So, not to say that you guys aren't important, but when it's a small area here, but we have a massive sideshow bridge going into the city that time. A lot of times, a small sector then will break off, go somewhere else, and then there'll be a massive up here, and another sector break off, or another spot, and they all communicate. We can scram, oh, here's the next spot, here's the next spot, here's the next spot. Move all around.
I understand that, but it still doesn't make it less disappointing.
I get it. I wish that we could have people everywhere.
I will say, there's one time that doesn't happen, is when the county sheriff is parked on the county corner of Cherry and Fred Jackson Way, when the sheriff's truck is there, it doesn't happen.
Well, see, this is what we're gonna have to, this is why we're gonna cut it for, with our highway patrol, and we're gonna give the opportunity for our sheriff to be, because we online also. We have two from our council that want to chime in, and I don't know if anybody else is online at this point, but we need to sort of wrap it up with our law enforcement, but go ahead and say, and then Gray.
Good question. When you all put out the position, is there usually an area that says they will have some kind of work, like they'll be in North Richmond, or is it just a general description of what they'll be doing?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like when there's an office, when you guys are looking for officers to fill the position, does it include a description of this officer will serve in a North Richmond?
Yes, that is specifically for that position, North Richmond, and then there's other, Arlington Heights, which is a little bit on the other side of 80, but that would be, there would be way less calls out there, a lot more calls out here. So primarily they would be out here in this specific area. And prior to, we had 2 officers working, and we're completely fully staffed. As of right now, I'm only told we're gonna get 1, so that would probably be, during the business hours, for that time. So hopefully in 6 months.
Okay, one more from Jorge, and then we're gonna go on Zoom and see Jorge.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a lot of problems going on, and it goes to show why we come to these meetings. It's one of the reasons why I joined tonight too. As well, right? It's being informed about issues happening in our community. I live on Market 6, so same thing, right? Side shows, everything going on. But it definitely seems like one of the biggest problems is the lack of priority that upper management in the law enforcement department department has put in to hire or fill in that position, right? Maybe it's a good idea for you guys to be there at the job fair coming up, especially if there's dispatchers. If you have short staff in dispatchers, perhaps there's an opening, it can be marketed. And what better way to market than someone from the community, as well as, let's say, more sheriffs. Perhaps the budget issue, maybe, and those conversations can take place as well to increase, like, let's say, a higher budget to hire more staff. But I think that to bounce back, if we were to have a consistent presence of law enforcement throughout North Richmond, there would be definitely less crime, including sex shows and everything that happens with stolen vehicles being knocked off here and developing as well. And I think it's just a matter of people are just pissed given the only issue, in which is like, I don't. And so I think it's nothing on you. I think it's more of just management, not prioritizing North Richmond. Because at the end of the day, with communication, things can get done. If there's a crime going on in San Pablo, they chase them down to North Richmond. And then now you see San Pablo and maybe Richmond PD in North Richmond. So if there's a problem with short staff when a side show happens, then it's possible to also coordinate the different departments coming together to North Richmond to separate the problems, not relying specifically on CHP and sheriff. So that's something that I think the police department needs to communicate maybe, and I think if we bring it to life, maybe we can see faster reaction times.
Okay, thank you, Lori. So do we have any other comments before we
I see Prince's hand is up.
Princess, okay, and then we will thank our highway patrolman and go into our sheriffs and our Richmond meeting. Okay. Princess?
Yeah, I definitely want to echo what was just said. I really do like that idea. Also wanted a clarifying question for the delay in the existing officers showing up on time or whatever. So that's a clarifying question to me, like what is taking so long for the existing officers that we have to get to the problem. And I do feel like this deserves a longer discussion, like an agenda item, but also want to note that some folks are celebrating, or given the culture of North Richmond, some folks are celebrating or grieving a loss. And so just wanting to work with the existing officers on being compassionate around the solutions that we are coming to.
Thank you, President. Are there any others for our highway patrolman? If not, okay, thank you so very much. Okay. Okay, Tanya,
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Lieutenant Mark Rodriguez here with the Sheriff's Office. I'm going to start off just with the monthly reports, and then I'll circle back to this issue here, just because I think there's some more talking points that we can cover, and maybe just give a little bit more clarification in support of officer with CHP here. So for the month of April, for calls for service, Sheriff's Office had 330 in North Richmond. Of those 330 reports, we generated, or calls for service, we generated 38 reports. And for the select crime chains, we saw a significant increase, but that was primarily due to the recovery of stolen vehicles. So for the month of February, we had 5 select crimes. The month of March, we had 5. And in the month of April, we had 12. I can tell you the recovery of the stolen vehicles, for the most part, is isolated along the railroad tracks, which is actually the railroad police. I believe it's Amtrak. However, there are other lines that run in the area. And there's also pretty large encampments back there. To give you an idea, recently our deputies saw a vehicle pull down off the roadway and go along the tracks. And these tracks I'm referring to specifically are between Brookside and Market. And saw the vehicle drive down there, thought it was a little suspicious. When he went out there to contact the driver was nowhere to be found, and the vehicle was still running. The ignition had been punched, which is consistent with a lot of times with the stolen vehicles. Upon further investigation, he found that there were several other vehicles back there that had actually been stripped and burned. And so those were wrecked. So it was a project that unfortunately we weren't able to get some of the tow trucks out there to recover some of the burned ones. So we are working with Amtrak, not only for the stolen vehicles, but also to relocate the encampment just due to the danger posed by that, because it is within the close proximity of the railroad tracks, which come through at normal speed. So that was the biggest thing. The other crimes that we saw were petty thefts, auto burglary, primarily all property crimes as well. As it relates to the sideshow comments and the discussion, just understand that I understand the frustration with the response times as well. And just to give you guys some insight, much as CHP is having staffing issues with dispatch, we are as well. We're doing things on our end to try and mitigate kind of the impact that has on the service that we're providing, as far as the wait times and stuff like that for the public in terms of getting your calls answered. We have increased staffing, which has helped, and we've increased it on some of the busier shifts. So our swing shift during the week, our weekend graveyard, as well as weekend day shift, we went from where we normally had 5 beats for the entire west end of the county, North Richmond, Rollingwood, and East Richmond Heights being one of them. So that was 1 beat. So you can understand if we get a call for service, and that call for service happens to be, in East Richmond Heights, the deputy that is assigned to North Richmond is responding to East Richmond Heights to do that. So depending on the time of the day, you can see how that's going to take some time for them to get back there. Where we offset that is with some of the resident deputies that we have. So we currently have 3 resident deputies assigned to North Richmond. Try to stagger some of their schedules so that they are present during the busier shifts, and so that they can deter some of these things from happening, from being out there. Now, one of them is assigned specifically for mitigation to try and address or combat the illegal dumping, which he's doing very well, along with the CDHC. So working in partner with them to and the other partners that we have as well, such as environmental health, to identify areas that need to be addressed. The other issue with sideshows, as far as it goes, is when we get calls for service, they come in based on they're prioritized, and they're prioritized primarily by the risk of to life and property. And so for us, a priority 1 call might be something where there's physical violence against somebody.
There you go. Someone right there, right there.
Yeah. So that you can understand that's gonna go to the top of the list ahead of something else. The other is with the sideshows, as my partner mentioned here, my counterpart from CHP mentioned, the best way to mitigate the risks both to the public as well as to those that are participating in the sideshow, and to the officers or deputies that are responding, is to do it as a coordinated attack. As far as going in and responding to, hey, where are we going to direct all these vehicles to go so they don't all take off in different directions at one time? Give them a safe avenue to get out of the area, and or, hey, give us a safe approach to where we can actually take enforcement action and start citing them. I'm not sure how many of you were in the community some years ago, but I know it was all over the news. There was a Richmond officer who was actually responding to a sideshow, and he was hit by one of the vehicles that was fleeing the scene, essentially, and he sustained some pretty serious injuries. So they're very dangerous, not just for, and that's why I completely understand the community members who are bringing it up, not just for the people that are participating in them, the spectators that are there thinking that, hey, I'm just watching this thing and it's an innocent pastime, but also for anybody that's responding and trying to contact them, because they are in a vehicle. These things do weigh thousands of pounds. So that's why when we do respond to these, we try and have a coordinated plan to make it as safe as possible and mitigate some of the risk posed to everyone involved. One of the best tools that's been helpful for us, although again it's depending on the availability of them, is helicopters. they're able to come in, identify those that are actually partaking in the sideshow, and then also give officers that are responding a safe avenue of approach. So we'll continue to work with CHP. I understand that just as they are, all of law enforcement as a career field, we're not seeing the same numbers of applicants applying for the position. So with that being said, it takes a long time to get an officer from the time of application to a time of hire. And then after that, they're looking at a 6-month academy. And that's normally followed by 6 months of training before they're able to be on their own and fill in a vacancy. So we are making some headway. In July, hopefully we should be filling the remainder of the 2 shifts and increasing staffing there to get us up to 7 beats across all shifts. So I appreciate you guys' patience with us. I left my contact information in the chat. The desk number, if I'm not here, I'm wearing many hats and I'm not in the office as much as I'd like to be, but you can always shoot me an email. And if you need to, you can try and get a hold of me at the desk and or through our dispatch. Any questions for me at this time?
Okay, do we have any questions?
Well, how high of a priority is it?
Wait a minute, do we have any on Zoom?
No.
Yes, dear.
Well, how high of a priority is it? Because like you're saying, the police officer got hit. Well, there was when they were doing it, they knocked this kid out of his shoes, you know, and there were so many people and then people get running and there was guns, there was laser pointers. You just never know when someone's going to decide they want to show off. And I don't want to be, I go to the back of my house because if they start shooting or whatever, I got a dog, I got my own life to worry about, and this isn't fun for me. So I just understand it's fun for them, and I understand you guys are understaffed, but this is a big deal. You got guns, you got cars, and like you said, they're spinning. And these are kids that don't know how to drive. They've hit people. That one kid got knocked out of his shoes, and they're laughing. They think this is a joke. It's not a joke. And until several people die, it shouldn't have to take a bunch of people dying in order to get this under control. It's bad. It's not like there's just 4 or 5 people out there having a good time. The streets are flooded with people. It is a mass of people. And if someone gets shot and people start running, there's more people that are gonna get hurt. And it is a problem. It's not just, you know, I don't know how you bring things on but it's bad. No, you got guns and cars involved. And my house is there. I spent a lot of money buying my house, and I don't want somebody trashing it, throwing their car into it. And then I gotta pay to have that refixed. I gotta pay if they shoot my dog. I gotta pay if my son or daughter dies because people think it's cute and fun. I don't think that this is just some little whatever, you know, it's frustrating and it's not getting handled. And I don't know how to say it in a nicer way, but it's so frustrating that every weekend I have to sit up late at night because you hear cars for 2 hours spinning. I got work in the morning. I have a life. You know, this isn't fair. And then when the people that are supposed to protect and serve you don't show up, it makes you feel bad. You know, and I understand you guys have other things going on. But, you know, I need someone to show up when I call, and it's not happening. And so I'm getting a lot of like, oh, well, we're understaffed and we have this and we have that. I'm hearing excuses. I'm not hearing answers that I want to hear.
Yeah, and by all means, ma'am, I'm not trying to mitigate the seriousness of it. And as my partner with CHP said, this isn't just a North Richmond thing. This is a Bay Area thing across.
I've already heard that answer. I'm not worried about other cities. I'm worried about where I live, and I want the sheriff or whoever in my city to handle it. I understand there's other communities and other things going on, and I understand that, but that's not my job to figure that out. It's your job to figure out how you're going to protect and serve my community that I live in, that I pay my tax dollars for, and that when I call and I want help, show up. I don't want to hear we got other places to be and we're understaffed. That's not my problem. That's your problem to figure out and hire and get what you need to get taken care of to get it done. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be getting super emotional about it, but it's gone on too long.
No, ma'am,
it keeps falling on deaf ears, and it's always somebody else's problem. Or oh, I'm sorry, we'll be there when you can get there. Well, I gotta live here and I don't wanna live like this. And so I'm asking for help and I'm getting no answers that I wanna hear back.
Well, and I apologize, man, but I share the frustration with you. I wish I could give you an answer that would solve that for you, but I don't have that answer other than to continue to respond and have a plan to make it safe for everybody to do so. And I'm not telling you that this thing is taking place in other areas to lessen the importance of it taking place in front of your house. I'm telling you that because it's a problem that nobody solved. Not us, not CHP, not Richmond, not San Pablo.
And that's my point is, okay, so then who needs to figure out how to solve this? Because
Well-
it's not my job to figure it out. It's my job to come and let you know what the problem is. And it's your job to figure out how to figure this out. And
And
if
we-
it's happening in a lot of places, then it's a problem that
And
needs
what
to
I'm-
be addressed
and
sooner
what
than
I'm-
later.
And what I'm saying to you, ma'am, is that it is on our radar. We are trying to do that. One of the ways that we safely do that is we need bodies to do it. And we need to be able to get there and have the resources available to implement those plans. One of the other problems is that no sooner than we move them from one place. So I'll give you a perfect example because this is, as you mentioned, this is a regular occurrence. It'll start on Highway 4 near Franklin Canyon. CHP and our deputies will respond. We'll clear the side show from there. No sooner than we do it there, it'll be at,
And I hear that. That's not what I'm debating. I'm not debating whether and where it's happening. I'm debating on who's gonna show up and when they're gonna get here. I
correct.
understand it's all these other places and there's all these people doing it. And there's one over here, there's one over there, but I'm here. So
Correct.
someone's
And,
right here.
And I'll relay to our deputies and to our supervisors on all the shifts to make sure that it's on their radar that this is occurring and you're in the locations that were mentioned in the chat as well as that you spoke to earlier. And we'll do our best to try and mitigate the risk posed to everybody in place. And I'm sorry that you are having such frustration, but it's just as frustrating for us to not be able to give you that answer tonight.
So with this, we know this is an enormous problem. And what we have to do, and we're gonna have to continue to do, is look out for our safety. When it's necessary, to look out for your safety. And to actually stay aware of what's going on around your home. I can see how frustrated you are. For many years, we have curtailed a lot of stuff here, but it has been quiet. It has been quiet, and now people are saying, let's come back and let's have act. Now, this is what's going on, because it has been quiet for quite some time. And they decided, let's come back, whoever it is. And right now, we have to start up again and be vigilant and start reacting. Okay? And when I say reacting as community. Okay? So I understand your frustration. We've been through it for many years. We got it quiet and people decide, oh, they're quiet, let's come back and let's start having. Okay? So the information is in the chat for you all. And at this point, I'm gonna
Can I get the information out of the chat?
Right, if Tanya can get it, Tanya,
Get.
if you could tell them the number, do you have a pencil, do you have your phone, to get for contact information?
For Lieutenant,
Right, but I looked at it in the name.
okay. So his contact,
Yes, speak up louder.
the phone number he shared is 510-262-4206.
His name is Lieutenant
Lieutenant Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Okay. Do we have a Richmond PD here on Zoom?
No, I
No. Well, thank you, Lieutenant Rodriguez. At this time, we appreciate you, you know what you're doing. We know it's a handful, it's more than a handful, you know. It's a countywide problem here in all towns, from one end of California to the next. They've been doing it across, but even in the East Coast, New York. This is one of the things they think is a fun thing to do. And with them wanting to do it, with them going on the internet and everybody getting together, they trying to outdo who can do what and who can do and to terrorize more than anyone else. It's a thing, it's a fun thing to them. They think it's something that we can go online, play these games, and if you get killed, you automatically come back alive. It doesn't work like that. Once you dead, but they're not believing that they will be, this is the end. They think it's a game that you could go on the videos, and this is what we're gonna do, and they're not looking at the repercussions at this time. So I thank you, and we're gonna move on, since we don't have the PD, but thank you, Lieutenant Rodriguez. Okay, and then.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to share that there was a lot of comments. So maybe I can share the recording with you all in the comments, so as leaders, then on the Maggie can read all the comments.
Okay, all right.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I need y'all to keep coming. We need you for us, you know, been on a long time, and we need your participation. Okay, with that, let's keep it moving. Okay, that was saying about law enforcement, and the agency. So let's go into our item for discussion, item 5. Do we have any discussion at this time? What, any action about none at this time? Okay, they must know that the Warriors game is gonna be this evening. Okay, presentations and proclamations. We have any?
Yes, we have 2 presentations.
We have 2 presentations, and who are they?
Our first one is a subcommittee by the North Richmond Mac subcommittee.
Yes, is Hannah on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great. Okay.
But no. Yeah, okay. So if I can, Hannah, while you're there, then I'm gonna turn it over to you and do that. Okay, so this item is the North Richmond Mac Economic and Equity Development for Subcommittee Update, okay? So I don't know who's gonna go first, out of you two? Okay, so do this, gonna go.
Yes, so, good to present to you all on the Economic and Equitable Development Subcommittee. So I'll give a summary of what we've been working on in this subcommittee of the MAC. Then Hannah's gonna take us through some data that we've been able to gather. So last year during, I think it was the summertime, myself, Princess, and John got together to say, hey, we need to host a subcommittee in order to advance the equitable development in North Richmond, because we, not only now, but in the past, we've seen development that wasn't in alignment with what we want as a community, right? So if community wants parks, we weren't getting parks, we were getting warehouses or arts trucks or whatever. And so we said the MAC meetings are not enough space for us to do the critical work that we need to do. So let's advance the equitable development subcommittee to do this work. Our first meeting was in October of last year, where we outlined priorities for how do we actually get started with the work that we want to do. And at that first meeting, we also approved our meeting frequency. So we meet the second Wednesdays of every month at 10:30 a.m. The goals that we outlined for the Equitable Development Subcommittee is, 1, to invite existing and future businesses to the Resource Center, which is on Fred Jackson Way, to train residents to meet local higher goals. So that's one goal, is all of the businesses that are based in unincorporated North Richmond come to the Resource Center to be able to give residents information about job opportunities in the area. The second goal is to engage existing and future developers that are committed to community benefits agreements. So sometimes businesses will come and they'll say, I'm gonna build my business and extract from the community. And what we're saying is, you're gonna have a business here, what are the benefits that you're gonna give to the community, Are you gonna put up streetlights? Are you going to give funds for the community center? And so really focused on making sure that any businesses that are already here or that will come in the future bring a positive benefit to the community. The third goal is to develop an equitable development matrix for the future of North Richmond, for future North Richmond developments. So oftentimes we, as MAC members, we sit here and we just start thinking off of our own minds, what do we believe is best for North Richmond? But we've been going to you all to say, okay, what kind of development do we need to prioritize in North Richmond? And our hope is that we utilize this matrix as a tool to rank what development are we going to approve and what development are we going to recommend to deny. And then that way, Contra Costa County planners will listen to what we've said based on our development matrix. And that way we're unified on what does the community need? What does the community want based on what you all have said? So that's what we talked about back in October. Then in November, we invited the senior planner of Contra Costa County. And we said, hey, senior planner, who are the developers y'all have approved in the last many years? And they were like, whoa, you're asking for too much information. Like, we don't even know. We have to go back in time. And we were like, okay, well, we need that information. And they committed to working with us to get that. In February of this year, we did a presentation outlining what are the different elements that we need to see in an equitable development matrix, whether it's healthy roads, clean streets, everything from housing to the air. And so we were able to hear from people, and I think there were over 50 sticky notes just of like what people said, that we took this information. And then, so that happened in February. And then our next meeting is May 10th at 10:30 a.m. Where we will continue to talk about the matrix and building and start to build it out. So that's basically the trajectory of how it started, where we started, and where we are at now. I'm gonna hand it over to Hannah to give us a presentation of some of the data that she's found that we've been asking for that is really useful for this project.
Thanks, Dulce. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can everybody see the spreadsheet that I have up on the screen?
No.
Yes.
We can't discern what's on it, okay? Put it
Okay,
like
I can zoom in. Did that help at all?
Very good.
Okay, well, I'll walk through it and hopefully it'll make sense. Basically, like Dulce said, I was working with Francisco. He's a planner at the county, and he gave all of the permits that have been approved for projects in North Richmond. So that could be commercial projects, warehouses, housing, anything that developers have come in and wanted to build in North Richmond in the last like 10 to 12 years. And I also went through all of the MAC meeting minutes since 2014, 2015 is when they were more consistent. And I was able to find all of the developers who came to every single meeting and what they talked about, what they presented on, and then if it matched up with the permit data to see who was actually approved after they visited the MAC. So here in the first column, I have the name of the project. So you can see there's like Center Point on here, Legacy Court, Heritage Point. There's all these businesses that I'm sure you're all familiar with. It has in the second column the address of the development, and then in the third column all the dates that they attended the North Richmond MAC meeting. So some of them came once to just present before they got approved. Some of them came multiple times throughout the years as they were working on getting their approvals. Some came after they've been approved to provide updates. I have here notes from what they talked about in their presentation and a link to the full MAC meeting notes that are listed on the website for the MAC. And then I have a column of just any community benefits agreements that they mentioned, either that they agreed to or that were asked for them from someone at the meeting. So you can see like some of them have 0 emission trucks. Some of them said they'd give 5% profit back to the community towards mental health initiatives. Some said new sidewalks or drainage work. So basically everything they mentioned is here. And then I matched it to the permit that we got from the county to see which of them have actually been approved. So at the top are all the ones that actually were approved. At the bottom, it lists the developers that came to the MAC but never completed their application, or they were denied or withdrawn for some reason, so they don't actually exist. Just so we don't, get confused about which ones do or don't exist in North Richmond. So it has their approval date of the permit if they did get approved, and then the description from their permit and a link if you want to see the full permit. And then finally, I tried to find a contact for each development. That effort is not fully complete yet, but I did list the name of the person who presented to the MAC. Some of them in the notes did provide their email, but some of them did not. So that's something I will keep on working on to find out if these same people still work at those developments or if we can get an updated contact. But yeah, that's essentially what we have. And then the goal is to follow up with each of these developers to see if they actually have completed the community benefits that they mentioned when they first came to the community. And then the other hope for this is that we can continue to use this spreadsheet to track any developers who come in the future to the MAC meetings, and then match it up to the matrix that we're creating. That will list the community benefits we want, so we can be more organized about, what makes sense to get from each developer as they work on their projects. So yeah, does anyone have any questions about what we have here or comments?
Yes, let's start. I have a few questions to ask you. Thank you for your, like to thank you all, you two, you three, that actually sat down and kicked out the information since 2015. But we can go beyond, we can go further than that. My question is the distinction of, you're speaking of developers, and the developers that you have mentioned was the couple, 3 of the developers you have mentioned were actually KPC. But I want to know about the commercial industry, the industry that had promise and the facilities that has been built. Say, for instance, like Viola, years ago they came to and they were being a part of, which they have been putting money aside each year for the community. We had newcomers to come in. Those are the entities that we are really interested in, and that we have been asking for data on. To say that the new developers, that you say developers, but we're talking about the commercial industry that has come in and has presented for free for different permits. And to say that the buy-in was to look at first source hiring, which we did not twist their arms for, but that was a caveat for them to actually have in good faith to actually hire from the community. Those are the entities that I am looking for, and that was requested for this subcommittee to look at. Have you found those entities, those different facilities that have come in and presented to the MAC, and where are they? I'm asking too much. Have you gotten that for yet?
No, yeah, those are all here. There's 22 different of them. I think the majority of them are those commercial businesses. I just listed the 3 names that I recognized. But we have tons of different warehouses on here, commercial water treatment facilities, trucking yards, pallet facility, recycling facility. So yeah, there's all the different industrial buildings are included on this list.
Right, so where are we with actually sampling out? Where are they at upon their promise to the community?
So far, all we know is what they promised. And then the hope is in the next few months, once we finish the matrix that has the specific things that we want from different type of developments, is to go back in time and talk to each of them and say, here's the community benefits we're asking for from future developments. And here's what you promised 5-10 years ago or 2 years ago. And follow up with what they've accomplished or what they still have yet to accomplish, to kind of, push them to do it if they haven't yet.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. Okay, I done asked and tear enough. Anybody else? I'm sorry, anyone else?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Laura O'Connor, thanks, Hannah. Really good report. I watched the recording of the earlier one. Is there going to be, when you all do the matrix, is there going to be a prioritization of community benefits, like the things that are most needed urgently and wanted by the most folks to be like?
Yeah, so I know Princess can speak to this. We've been thinking about doing a larger community meeting to be able to do those community exercises where we are prioritizing and even adding more comments to that. So this isn't the end of it, even once all of the wonderful work Hannah has done. Literally, she has read every single MAC agenda meeting back 10 years. And now the purpose is to build on it with our collective efforts and what we want the future of North Richmond to be.
Thank you. So actually, this is part in conjunction with our action plan and our strategic plan that we look at every 5 years. I know that this has been part of it, and I'm pretty sure this is what you've seen and has been told in order to give us this data at this point for our strategic plan for the community and the community voices of what they want to hear. Excellent work. I'm not, I want to let you all again know to reiterate excellent work. This is something that we have been asking for, and I'm glad that you stepped up. You all stepped up, and at this time, I think when we actually looked at this, I was coming off my illness, and I think I went out with my bout of cancer when we first started it back in 2016. But anyway, great job. I'm glad you picked up that ham. I'm glad you're doing it. And I might have other questions and input at this point, but thank you. Good job. Good job.
Is that data available to look at?
Actually, it's the agendas that was actually, she's gone back through the records of the agendas through all our meetings and the different presentations that we had to come to the MAC and for entities to come in to get approval for committees for building here in North Richmond and what they were bringing to the community. It's all on record, and it's something that probably time you can dig up and go back to. Okay, very good.
It's the document she just showed up.
Oh, okay.
That-
Oh, I didn't ask about
I'm
the
sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, no, right, because you couldn't have it in front of us, but but that's, that's good. If you got it, she said it out. Thank you, Hannah. Okay, are there any other questions? Did anybody online?
I don't see anyone online.
Zoom for any questions at this point? Okay, well, thank you.
At least
Oh, go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
do want to invite people who want to come to the next subcommittee meeting. It's every second Wednesday of the month. So the next one is May 10th at 10:30 a.m.
Zoom
Zoom.
Here?
It's on Zoom. Yeah, so maybe I could pass the paper along if any of you want to join, and then if anyone in the audience wants to join, you can put your email in the chat and I can send you an email, a follow-up email.
Okay, very good.
And one last thing, I don't know if you're there, but we wanted to talk about, the implementation of like when different developers come. They often come, but then the notes get lost somewhere. And so we wanted to talk about making a motion or a recommendation to have our coordinator, our city coordinator track that down in the Excel sheet that Hannah just shared. So like the public can have access to view it, but it would be, or whoever is coordinator would have the ability to add that information as different developments present. And so that way, we don't have to be in this pickle where we're like, oh, let's go back 15, 20 years to see what people said. And then dig through the information.
So what is, okay, so what are you asking of coordinators?
Essentially, if there's a developer who's gonna build in North Richmond or have, build in North Richmond, whether it's a commercial or or even housing. I work for a nonprofit housing developer. If they make a promise or a commitment to the community, that gets logged into the Excel sheet.
Okay, so this is okay. This is okay, so that shouldn't be okay. I just didn't want to overtax her to do duplications of work when that is usually in our agenda, that's on our agenda at this point. But we want a separate entity, a separate entity below. I know what you're saying. Okay, you're looking for, and let me see if I understand what you're saying. As for each time when a developer comes in, at any point, that they will be logged in into this spreadsheet, and therefore should be taken, and not, like I said, I want a duplication. I'm looking for not to have a duplication of work for her to do. But normally that it is on the agenda, and it is approved by, the agenda is approved for this entity to come in. But to go forth with notes and comments of what their promises are to this, with a column that she will be indicating and be saying these are the promises that are brought to the MAC. And we're looking, and we would like to keep them at the forefront of keeping those promises, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
logged in one Excel sheet,
Good.
because essentially,
Okay.
all of it is public information.
Yeah.
Because we had to go back many, many years to dig up that information.
Right.
All of that. That's a great idea.
Okay, so right now, so we're making a motion after I just go around the corner and back up and down the street. So therefore, we're making a motion. Okay, I would like for you to, I would like for an entertainment of a motion,
Right.
for this recommendation for our chief of staff to have the ability to be able to have access to the spreadsheet at this point and be able to log in any forthcoming developer or commercial to indicate that information along with comments of promise, correct? Okay, so I will make a statement and who's going to say it? I second.
Third.
Okay, good. So we all in favor, President, you hear that? Everybody in favor? Here and I? Okay, okay. Very good, thank you, okay. So that's our recommendation for you, staff. At this point, thank you. Okay, moving on. So that concludes our presentation. Is there another presentation? Or was that it? I don't see anything else.
We do have one more, Urban Tilt is gonna present about their youth program that is currently.
Okay, so it wasn't added on the agenda. Why did we add it on the agenda? What is it?
It's on page 60.
Oh, since me, well, I printed out the one that you given me. Okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, I'm looking at another agenda.
May 2nd.
May 2nd was sent out to me. Okay. Yeah,
I think, yeah, I confirm.
yeah.
I have to leave a little early.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
you have a recommendation for what's happening in the neighborhood?
yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
if you can reach out to your state rep, your state senator, or even the congressman in this area. If you have it, that would be a good place to start as well. The more voices talking about this, the better your responsibility will be.
And that was our director, David Alvarado, from the
West County
West
wastewater.
County wastewater. That made the suggestion for us to reach out.
But I'll see y'all next month.
Okay, thank you. What's that? Okay, so we do have one more. Urban Health, and who will be presenting for the summer apprentice program?
Hello, my name is Chito Floriano. I'll be presenting on behalf of Urban Tilth, speaking about the Summer Youth Apprentice Program today. Tanya, I have to share my screen for the slider? Is that something that you could do?
Either or.
Okay,
Do you want me to share it?
here, let me try to, I think I could share it. Here we go. All right, can y'all see that?
Yes.
All right, give me a sec. All right. Cool. First off, I wanna thank the committee for allowing me to present today. So as I said, Chito Floriano here, Director of Farm and Gardens at Urban Tilth, and I'm here to talk about the Summer Apprentice Program. So just a program snapshot, just an overview. It's a six-week paid internship for young people ages 15 to 19, and will run from July 5th this year up until August 11th, with 100 hours of on-the-job training in sustainable agriculture, watershed technician work, orchard care, as well as community engagement. We're hoping to host at least 35 youth at various sites and in different program areas under Urban Tilth, which would be the North Richmond Farm, our Orchard for All gleaning program and free farm stands, the Greenway Community Gardens, the Water Restoration Team, as well as our Ujima Black Land and Liberation cohort. Participants at the end of the program will get 1,500 stipend per youth as long as they complete their 100 hours. There's also a 4-day, 3-night camping trip up north to Jug Handle Creek Nature Center to get to experience the outdoors and yeah, just see what it takes to camp. There'll also be a host of different projects involving site improvement, as well as local field trips to gardens, parks, and other farms, as well as community engagement projects. And at the end of it all, we'll have a graduation ceremony, and each youth will get a certificate of completion for completing the program. And so here's just a quick snapshot of our kind of weekly learning themes. So by site, so each site, some of the sites will have crossover. Sorry about that. Have crossover in terms of what they're teaching in their curriculum. So as you can see in week 1, sites are really focusing on doing an orientation and creating safe spaces for the young people to be their best selves. And then in week 2, we go into food sovereignty and environmental justice. And then week 3, cultivating healthy soil. And then the watersheds restoration team is focusing on the SF Bay watersheds, water-based pollutants, and other the original people of the land. And then week 4, we go into growing healthy foods across different programs, as well as creek flora and fauna. And then Orchard for All will be focusing on farm stands. And then in week 5, we'll do the camping trip, where we'll do the California coastal ecology and watersheds, and then end it off with community engagement by week 6. And so next here are just some photos from our previous Summer Youth Apprentice Program in the past as you can see, there's some improvement projects going on here in the lower right corner are some refurbishing of our nursery beds for our native plant nursery, some irrigation being installed in a raised bed here at the bottom in the middle. And then at the top, those bouquets were actually delivered to the senior center in North Richmond. And so, yeah, youth will get the opportunity to participate in various projects throughout the 6 weeks. As I mentioned, we also provide opportunities for field trips, going out to Cal Academy of Sciences, as well as other partner farms and any other local gardens and creeks and trails in the area. And so one of the things that we preach at Urban Tilth too is like, we want to grow our own, right? But we also want to provide the opportunity to learn how to cook, right? And so giving folks that insight on how to cook a healthy meal with what they grow in the garden is also implemented into the program. And then the camping trip, where folks will get out of Richmond for a while and go up north and spend quality time together, you know, by a campfire and be able to gaze out at the stars. Here in Richmond, of course, due to light pollution, we can't see the stars. And so a lot of Richmond youth will be able to see stars maybe for the first time, or even camp for the first time. And so Urban Tilth loves to be able to provide that opportunity for young people. And as well as I mentioned, community engagement projects. Here we have the Ujima cohort visiting a local garden in someone's front yard and helping them kind of tend to their garden, as well as in this left corner and bottom right corner was a health fair that was conducted at Crescent Park. And so the Ujima cohort will also be tending to the community garden in Crescent Park throughout the duration of the program. And they'll be able to host community engagement projects like this. And in the bottom left corner, we have our cohort there with just a mural that was being painted out on the greenway. And then at the end, of course, we have the celebration ceremony, and where we distribute the certificates and also the paychecks to our young people who participated in the program. And really emphasizing that this is a tiered program ladder for upward mobility and the training of our youth of Richmond. Here is a photo from left to right of Urban Tilth apprentice from year 1, and then going into a staff lead by year 4, and kind of a broken down timeline of compensation from year 1 to year 4. And really, yeah, just continuing to implement this tiered program and continuing to develop the next generation of young leaders in our community. And I think the last slide was for any questions.
Okay, that was wonderful. Excellent presentation. Excellent presentation. Okay, so we're gonna have. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's our 7 years.
Right, okay, 1 minute. So he has a question. We have someone in the audience, one of the community people, to ask you, how do you sign up for Urban Tilth? So if you could give him that information.
Yes, absolutely. Are we talking about signing up for this program in particular?
Yes.
Yes, so it'll be urbantilth.org, and it'll be the first kind of banner you'll see on the website, and it'll ask to learn more, and then you'll be able to apply. There's an online application, and we're going to be having actually printed out applications as well at the North Richmond Farm. I would stop by probably after Wednesday, and we should have some paper copies as well.
Okay, now you know where the form is at, right?
I've been there. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, my wife goes down all the time.
Okay, good. Okay, all right.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
What do you say about the job fair? Or will they be at the job fair, or is that not considered?
No, this is way, that's a different entity. The job fair that I mentioned was wastewater.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, wastewater.
Where is it?
Okay, I'll go back over there. Okay, yeah, this was the wastewater. So, a couple of comments, what you're doing as far as, I think it's an excellent job. Last time that I know of that we had camping trips was with the neighborhood house.
Mm,
Right, and we had many blossoming excursions, many seminars, many things that built for leadership here through North Richmond. So to see that to come back to that entity of urban Jill, hats off to you. Excellent, excellent, very good. Brought back old memories to the camp and the mosquitoes. Okay.
we
So,
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. If there's no other questions, I appreciate again the time to be able to present here today, and looking forward to reviewing a lot of applications where it's going to be open up until the end of May. So we're looking forward to bringing on as many youth as we can.
How many applications are you guys taking?
Right now, I think we are usually, we get about a little bit under 100 applicants, so around 90 to 95, but we're hoping to accept 35, I think is the number we're gonna move forward with. So 35 youth this summer.
Thank you.
and when does it end? When are you gonna close out for accepting application?
Yeah, that's gonna be at the end of May, so May 31st.
May the 31st, okay, May the 31st, and then you're gonna start right up, okay. Well, very good, excellent job, keep it up.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Very good,
Alrighty.
very good.
Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much.
Enjoy it. Okay, I would just add, before we go into our agency report, where did she go? She doesn't know. She went to go to the career fair. Who asked you for the date? It was you. Who asked me for it? Okay. It was Tanya. Right, oh, no, yes, no, this career fair is having, industries, you know, like we have industries and, other government organizations and special districts, you know, that would be there. And to say, education and to call special districts, we're looking at like East Bay Mud. We're looking at the sanitation, you know, and we're looking at the schools, wastewater.
Is there a flyer that we can share?
You know, it was a flyer, and if you want to be so courageous and take it off my phone, you may do so. Okay, so we're gonna continue on with the meeting. I know a lot of you want to actually go to, you know, look at the festivities of the game. Some of you interested and some of you not, but I'm not gonna hold you past 7 o'clock. We're gonna keep it moving. So we're gonna look at the first one is our City of Richmond Community Service Department. Who do we have there?
Yeah.
Are there anyone there for agency report?
I don't see anyone from the city of Richmond.
Okay. How about Shields Reed Neighborhood Council? Is Marina on? One thing I can say, since the pandemic is, since people are coming back in person, that from the president, she did say that we will be starting up very shortly again with our meeting, and they will be held at Shields Reed. So, I'll keep you informed with that, but she had mentioned just a few weeks ago that it's time for us to start up again in person. Okay, and that's at Shields Reed. Okay, Housing Authority, do we have anyone from Housing Authority, Country Cultural Housing Authority?
Hi, everybody. This is Tony Usferri. I'm on. Just want to give you a little update on what's happening with the RFQ that's out on the street. We met on Tuesday last week, and we had about 15 people show up at our walkthrough of the scattered sites. I think out of those 15 people, they were representing roughly about 5-6 different groups. We did a quick introduction, and then we walked everybody out to all the various sites that they were interested in. These were nonprofit developers who were looking to buy one of the scattered sites or up to 5 of the scattered sites for $1 each, and be looking to fix them up and then turn around and sell them to families that are 80% of area median income or below. We are expecting to hear back from people by the end of the day on Friday, Thursday, to kind of get a sense of which units people are interested in. And once they tell us that, then we will be reaching out to our realtor and start marketing the rest of the units that are not being pursued by the nonprofit developers. They'll start marketing the rest of the units for the market sales. We came back after looking at the sites, and we had about an hour, a little over an hour of questions and answers. All the questions and answers are going to be getting transcribed. Everything is in writing, so everybody knows what people are asking. So there's no, one group is getting more information than another group or anything like that.
Oh, Tony, you went on mute somehow.
Oh, sorry. I'm putting in the chat a link to the actual RFQ. If you're interested in getting that RFQ, so you can take a look at it. It is due on June 13th. And then from there, we will start, evaluating them, making sure that everybody submitted the required documentation. If they don't, they'll be denied and they won't have an opportunity to buy them at the dollar sales. And everyone else that does submit an appropriate and competitive proposal, we will then get into contract with them to buy those units and start that process. I think that's about it for now. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I see that Hannah has also posted some more information in the chat for folks to reach out if they want some more information as well.
Okay, are there any questions for Tony here? Okay, none here. Yes, do you have a question?
Yeah, my understanding is that some of the units somehow are already off the market. They were in the initial RFQ. Is that correct?
Some units are off the market. Is that what, did I hear correctly?
Yeah, some of the houses have already been, some of the units have already been sold, or the entire package is sold?
I'm not sure. I don't know where all this information comes from, but no, nothing's been sold. There are 42 buildings available, and 15 of them will be sold for $1 through this process. And the remaining 27 buildings, if my math's right, will be sold at market.
When you say 15 buildings, so that means that 3 lots of 5, because they come in lots of 5 buildings, correct?
That's right.
So 3 developers will get them at $1 and everything else goes to market.
Well, again, everybody's assuming that, each developer will want to buy 5. I don't think that's going to be the case. There are 15 buildings available. How it breaks down, we won't quite know until we get all the applications and proposals. The whole application process, the scoring process has been put in place. What we plan to do is the top 3 to 4 developers that have the most, acceptable proposals will probably undergo a second round where there'll be interviews, kind of drill down into their proposal, kind of get a better sense of what they're thinking, how they're going to do it, how they're going to pay for it, what's the expectation for the population served, and so on. From there, then we will make a final recommendation to our executive director of which projects should be selected. And we'll go to the board, the Housing Authority Board for approving the transactions, and then we also have to go to HUD. HUD will want to see that our board has approved this. So after we get that approval, we will submit it to HUD to say, hey, we're ready to sell these number of properties. We'll give them, a little synopsis on each. And the assumption there is that, at least in our preparation and getting all of this set up with HUD, is that it's going to be approved, assuming that we're recommending that they do so. So, we're expecting a fairly seamless process from HUD, but that's always kind of a question mark, no matter what you do these days. So we'll have to just kind of keep our fingers crossed that no new curveballs show up and that everything will proceed as expected.
Are there any other questions for Tony?
Yeah, once the houses have been remodeled, they're done with their work, who's selling it and for how much?
So once the nonprofit developers fix the units, they're the ones that are going to be marketing them. They're the ones that are going to be selling them. They're also the ones that are going to make sure that, each of these properties has a restrictive covenant that's been executed and recorded on them. So that's going to also be re-recorded in the name of the buying party. So they have an obligation for 20 years to maintain the unit. It's going to remain a unit restricted to a family that's at 80% of area median income or below. So if that family buys the unit and everything's put in place, and 10 years down the road they decide that they want to sell it and move on, well, they're going to have to sell it to a family that's at 80% of area median income or below. If they stay there 20 years and decide to sell it, well, at that point the restrictive covenant is released. They can sell it to whoever they want for however much they want. So, there will be a restriction on these units for at least 20 years.
Okay, are there any other questions? Were you good? No. Any other questions, Tony?
And just so you all know, Hannah also put a comment in the chat that, if you have any other questions, please put them in writing so that we can share those comments with everybody else. And the answers and the questions, somebody may not know what question to ask. So when you ask a question, it may be of interest to a lot of other people too. So we're making sure that we're going to share all of that. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so very much for the update. And looking forward to hearing more from you. Okay, thank you, Tony. Okay, that concludes our housing authority. Next, Tanya, I know you want me to come back to you because I know you charging your phone.
Oh, it's okay. Can
I mean,
people hear
your
me?
laptop, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay, so Don isn't here.
I can give a report. Because I think I can still see me.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, so it is back to Supervisor Joya's office this time.
Good evening, everyone. So I have a couple of updates, some good news. We had the Congressman Garamendi's office, both regional and Washington faculty come out to North Richmond today. And they informed us that they did put in the funding request for the grocery store. That we are working with CHDC on, and we hope to hear some good news by September. And the grocery store was one of 15 projects selected by the Congressman's office. So we're really hopeful that, this time around we'll get a grocery store in North Richmond. It's a long time dream of the community. So we're working really hard to try to make it a reality. And I want to do an update on the Light Up North Richmond community walk. Thank you to all the volunteers. We are gonna do a drive because during the walk we only did a couple of blocks around the school, and to get a fuller picture of the needs of North Richmond in regards to streetlights, we're gonna do a drive with volunteers. So that's kind of the next step, and then we're working with Public Works to do work requests on the places we identify that need additional lighting or brighter lighting. And Supervisor Joya also did a bike ride with Rich City Rides around Richmond and part of North Richmond, and they did go to Wildcat Creek, and it was brought to our attention that the trail that is underneath the Richmond Parkway, that trail that connects the neighborhood to the Wildcat Creek Park across on the other side of the parkway is there's a lot of debris there and people can't go and flow. So we did put in the work request to Public Works to clear it out so that people can start accessing it again. So we just want to let you all know that we acknowledge that that's the situation right now. We did put the work request for Public Works, so we hope that gets addressed sooner than later. I also attended the Castro encampment meeting, and the city informed us that there's gonna be a fence. The contract for the fencing got approved. There's gonna be additional lighting, and also cameras are in progress. And the city and county and nonprofit Way to Love are working really hard to relocate people from Castro and are having some success. So, you know, that continues to move forward, and they're actually doing a presentation today at the City of Richmond City Council. So if you want to hear a more full report with like their strategic plan on what they plan to do for the next upcoming months, you can watch the recording for Richmond City Council where they're going to discuss more, and they're actually going to ask for more approval of funding to do more improvements. So yeah, those are my reports for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, very good. All right, let's go.
I have one question.
You had a question?
Talking about that underpass that goes under Richmond Parkway.
Yeah,
Is it-
for Wildcat Creek.
Is it possible to have something built over it? Because every time it rains, it floods out because it's built below the water level. So it looks like it was originally supposed to be like a water,
Yeah,
like channel thing. So even if they clean it, the next time it rains, it just floods out every time. So it make more sense to, because there was a bridge over it so that cars go over it. So it doesn't make sense that people go under it. So I don't know if that's a possibility or a request, but
it is.
possibly.
It is a request, and it's part of our pipeline of projects that we're hosting. There's even a design of it that we did with Mithun. Mithun did a design of what it would look like, and they're architects, so they actually drew it out, and they have a beautiful design of it, illustration of it. And I can include you in the Richmond Parkway discussions. I know that's gonna come back up. There's gonna be some community meetings and inputs around like how to improve the Richmond Parkway. And I know that's gonna be brought back up in those conversations around like how do we connect, you know, people from one side to the parkway to the other, because the shoreline is really close, but it feels so far away when you have a 4-lane, parkway kind of dividing the residential and the shoreline. So I think we're gonna continue to push for that along with the watershed project, and Mithun and others are continuing to advocate for that as part of the improvement along Wildcat Creek.
Okay, but we get close to time. Okay, very good. Okay. Janine, I'm gonna have, if you may, report out for a few minutes now. The mitigation, that's fine, if you like, okay?
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
speak louder.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jeanine Shipley, the Prevention Services Coordinator, and I'll be reporting for Khalid Dennis, who's our intern, Community Service Coordinator, who could not be with us, this evening. So, for mitigation, on his patrol for the month of April, we reported 87 cases of trash or illegal dumping within North Richmond. 63 were hazardous materials, meaning it was refrigerators, stoves, tires, those type of items, and 37 furniture, sofas, bed, mattresses, things like that. We had our task force walk in April, and as we were all together, we encouraged people to come with us. We were actually over behind Shield Street Park. And excuse me, one of the residents actually approached us, and on her, right on the side of her home, there has been a tremendous amount of illegal dumping consistently. you know, and she wanted to basically report it in an anonymous way. So, but also, the Deputy Sakai was there and, suggested, you know, if you could get a picture of that license plate, you know, then maybe, you know, we can actually, serve that person or, and find them and give them a citation. So, so that's, you know, we're working really closely. I'm gonna kind of combine my reporting with this as well. So with Richmond Sanitary Hotspot Crew for the month of April, 271 was reported for illegal dumping. And then 57 of those were hazardous. And then as far as evidence collected, we had 9. So it's really, really picking up because we are really working together as a team. So got to police report, the ambassadors handed out 1,200 copies of the Earth Day Festival flyers. The Earth Day event was a huge success. There was a walkable path, revealed stencil project, ribbon ceremony. There were several students from Salesian High School. Birdie School had a great setup with food and swap meet, you know, for clothes. All leadership teams tabled the event. And we also had the Little League baseball and baseball teams both participated in the cleanup day. It was awesome. I'm sorry, the Earth Day. In attendance, we had our executive director, Mr. Don Gilmore, supervisor John Joya, and Mayor Martinez was in attendance at the Earth Day event. Our upcoming event is the Willie Spears Cleanup Day, which will be on May 13th. And the ambassadors have already passed out 1,200 flyers for the cleanup day. And then both of our sports programs are going well. The coaches are doing a wonderful job in managing teams, basketball and baseball. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Great job. Okay, well, we kind of short on time, you know, you gotta get it.
No, I don't have a car. I live here. I don't have a car. I'm not, it's,
No, I got your car.
oh, yeah, I got, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can go ahead and
Well, she said something about the baseball park down there. I'll send you an email. Why isn't there playground equipment in the park?
At which part?
The baseball park.
That's City of Richmond.
Oh, that's not this one.
That's not the county.
So we're talking about,
City of Richmond.
oh, okay.
Yeah, City of Richmond.
Okay.
That's under Parks and Recreation.
That part's.
Yeah, Parks and Recreation.
I just wanted to add that on that note, Dave, you have to, if you're a senior by May 10th, you have to call for them to come to your house to pick it up. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And I have a flyer right here if you need the number.
I just wanted to share with people who are listening, because there's a lot of seniors that are thinking that and don't necessarily know.
Yes, I can actually give you that information. Seniors who are disabled and want to request a pickup, they need to make an appointment by Wednesday, May the 10th. They can call Leilani and the phone number is 510-231-3020 to make an appointment for pickup.
Seniors only or disabled?
Seniors and disabled residents. Thank you.
I feel like that's a really great thing to happen. Thank you.
Okay, let's keep it moving. Right, Richmond Land.
That's me. So Richmond Land, as I mentioned, we're a not-for-profit housing developer organization utilizing the community land trust model to make sure that we make housing affordable forever and ever for residents of the community. 2 weeks ago, we supported and co-wrote a grant to put up slats, as Princess mentioned earlier, put up slats on the parkway. And so you'll see these like sticks that are colorful along the parkway. That was part of a project that we did for Earth Day in order to talk about the quality of earth or the quality of air that we have in North Richmond and how we deserve better as a community. In the next week, on May 18th, we're going to hold a CLT 101. So what is a community land trust? And myself and my colleague will be presenting, since people want to hear about what's Richmond Land, who are you? And if you're interested in joining, please send me an email so I can send you a link. This will be a Zoom meeting. My email is dulce, so DULCE @richmondland.org. Again, it's to talk about community land trusts and how that's a tool to stabilize community members. The last thing is we will put in a competitive bid for 5 units. Tony mentioned this, that are up for sale for nonprofits. And it's part of a larger vision that we've been working on with community members over the course of the last 3 years to build a tiny home eco village. If you're interested to know more about that, also reach out to me at dulce@richmondland.org. If you are interested in living in an eco village, I can send you a form to get more information about it too.
Very good. Okay, we're looking at short of 3 minutes before 7 o'clock. So if I can have a motion to entertain to carry for, I guess, let's say about 10 more minutes, 10 after 7, in order to give Corporation Richmond and Urban Chill time to do their 4 hours. So if I can have a motion.
I motion to extend the meeting 10 minutes after 7.
Okay.
Second.
And a second. Okay, all in favor? I didn't hear. Oh, that's the thing. I'm talking about the other council members that are there. Beverly, are you there? Princess?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any opposing at this time? Hearing none, okay, the meeting will be extended for 10 more minutes. In the grace to have Corporation Richmond and Urban Hills to be able to report out. Okay, let's go.
I can give a quick update for Cooperation Richmond. We just launched a worker-owned cooperative in Richmond called We Are Space Level 8. So if you look them up on Google, We Are Space Level 8 is a all women, Black-owned, worker-owned cooperative business with services of renting party equipment. So chairs, canopies, tables, popcorn machine, cotton candy machine, any type of party equipment that have customized packages available, affordable packages available. So We Are Space Level 8. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And did you put your information in the chat? Princess?
I can do that now, sorry.
Okay. Or you could orally say your contact information where you could be found. That's, that's a wonderful establishment to have a business for our African American women, or any woman to have her own business that's established. So you entering it?
Yes, I'm gonna enter it in the chat. I can say it out loud.
Okay, when you say it out loud, that would be appreciated.
Sure. So I'm a project manager for Cooperation Richmond, and I help West Contra Costa residents develop and launch cooperative businesses. meaning everyone who works for the business is in ownership of the business and helps really develop and make decisions for the business. You can reach me at princess@cooperationrichmond.org for any information on the projects we have, or if you're interested in developing a cooperative business.
Very good.
Princess, can you say the name of the business again? We are space level 8.
Yes, we are space LVL8, the number 8.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Princess. Very good. Excellent job. Okay, next is Irvin Tilt.
Good evening. This is Latifa. My name is Latifa Abdullah, for those of you who are new in the room. Yeah, so I work at the North Richmond Farm, which is at 323 Brookside Drive. And as you may know, we have a 3-acre farm there. We feed 500 families a week through our CSA program. We have the free farm stands. The one here in North Richmond is on Thursdays at 2 at the McLaughlin Temple parking lot. So a couple things. Let me look at my notes here. Oh, I wanted to let you know quickly about a collaboration we did. So there are a couple of organizations that approached us to do a free farmers market. So we recently had the farmers market on, and so we collaborated with the Black Neighborhood, the Family Justice Center, Fresh Approach, White Pony Express, and McLaughlin Temple. And it was a really great turnout. So it was, people were able to come and get canned food, fresh produce, children's jackets, and over 150 folks came out. And yeah, it was a really nice collaboration. I wanted to mention to you now, you know that you may know that we're doing, starting the construction for the farm. We have a 5-phase construction project. And so right now, bids are out and they're due early May. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is the underground utilities and the site rough grading. So that's going to be from June until August. Yeah, June until August. And then this next phase, we're going to be doing the farm facilities, the watershed workshop, and that's going to be August 23rd through July 24th. And yeah, so really looking forward to all of the things that you all asked us to do. They're in some of the other phases, the commercial kitchen, the cafe, the community room. So really looking forward to getting that done. And as Tito mentioned, we have the apprenticeship. So hopefully for our young people, they can apply for that. And I'll just put that link back in the chat if I could, in case you're interested. And I saw a comment Miss Cynthia put in there about Jessica. But let me put this in here and then we'll. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Latifa. Great job. Okay, so.
Jessica's here from the city of Richmond.
Okay.
Everybody, I'll make this quick. I know it's been a long meeting.
Right, we have 5 minutes.
Okay, I don't need that much time. Hi, this is Jessica, and I'm with the North Richmond Mobile Tool Library. And I just wanted to let you guys know, if you live in North Richmond and you're over 18 and you would like to borrow tools for free, you can sign up to use us. So I have put my phone number in the chat, 510-260-4516. And also, if you're a nonprofit that does projects in North Richmond, you can also sign up if you're interested. So we have a lot of tools. And yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that. Had a quick thing, a thought I had about the whole sideshow business. I live in San Pablo, and I recently saw a sign that said, if you are watching fireworks, you'll be fined. And I'd never seen a sign like that. And I don't know if people that watch sideshows can get tickets or be fined, but you know, one way to deter the whole sideshow thing would be if anybody that was watching, you know, if they could get a ticket or get fined for watching, that might, you know, might help in that. So anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks, you guys.
Okay, and if you want to put that comment in the chat, that'd be appreciated also, okay?
Sure.
All right, well, thank you all for this evening and staying after 7 o'clock, which I'm usually very punctual to have everybody out at least by 7. And the courtesy of Ms. Denise, being so gracious for letting us be here. So at this point, the meeting is adjourned, and our next meeting is Tuesday, June the 6th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Also on Zoom, and if you would like to come out person, please do 515 Civil Ave, Richmond, California, 94801. And thank you, and everyone have a very, very good evening and the rest of the month. Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.